Hey everybody, Evil Master Alex here, and welcome back to part 2. This time around we will be looking at some light vehicles. Demand 6, Amphibious Cars. So first we'll be looking at the amphibious cars here with the Schwimmwagen and the Ford GPA. They both can have 1 driver and 3 passengers, but that doesn't stop Rito from putting more additional space on the hoods or the back. The Schwimmwagen can move at 80 kilometers per hour on road. In water, it can move 11 kph, and some variants have been known to actually have a MG34 in the passenger seat next to the driver. Moving on to the Ford, we can move 105 kilometers an hour on the road and 8 kilometers per hour in the water with no additional machine gun. For my overview, these should be extra specialized vehicles to help prevent stalemates and take shortcuts from one side of the map to the other. So an example, I said, town map D line to C line. Extra thing is, the Ford GPA should be given to the Soviet Union under the Lend-Lease agreement. These vehicles should be able to carry a few troops across a river faster than you can swim, so it'll be a lot quicker than swimming across. This should be fast as their land counterparts, the Jeep Kubelwagen, and should give you the element of surprise if, say, you flank around from, you go from C line to D line across the river and you flank around through the back side of the city. So, its kind of drawbacks, it loses most of its speed in the water, which is to be expected, because you don't want to be going full throttle in the water. That would just be a game-breaking mechanic, which also would be very unrealistic. It should be hard to achieve, say, driver badge gold 4 or rank 12. So pretty much the very last driver badge, which is really hard to get to. And this vehicle should be more expensive to spawn than a regular land vehicle. Side demands, I would also like the Soviet T-38 tank and the American Weasel to be amphibious vehicles. If you already didn't know, these two vehicles, they are amphibious. At least the Weasel has been converted from like a regular land vehicle to a amphibious vehicle. So both of them would be really nice to see them move in the water. Demand 7, Anti-Tank Half-Tracks. Moving on to Anti-Tank Half-Tracks. For the first one, it would be the half-track given to the USSR, or the Soviets. It has a 57mm cannon. It moves 72 kph on road. It has 99 shells, which is a lot of shells. And of course it's paper. The Germans, they have 75mm cannon. It moves 52 kph, not superly fast like its predecessors here, and only has 22 shells, which isn't that much, but honestly, some people don't even make it to using 10 shells, because it wouldn't be easy to use this vehicle. Of course, paper. I mean, it only has 2 more millimeters of armor, but yeah, it's still paper. For the Americans, they'd be getting a 75mm gun carriage here. Moves the same as the Russian half-track, 72 kph. Has 59 shells, so over the SDK 251, it would have pretty much triple the ammo capacity, and paper, of course. All three of them don't really have an additional MG, so it should just basically be an anti-tank vehicle only. So for my overview for the half-track, it should be a different type of vehicle, basically giving it a bigger gun over, a flak track. So this vehicle will be able to help with anti-tank support. It should be used as a reserve anti-tank vehicle to help combat enemy tank forces. So basically, you should only pull this half-track when you're out of tanks, and you need something to help fight tanks. If you have a half-track stockpile, of course. So, half-track lives are very valuable, use them wisely. They should be hard to achieve, so I said that the same time that you unlock the flak track, which is Gold 3 Chauffeur badge, and it should also have APCR and HE, but you have to unlock it. Demand 8. Scout Cars. The next demand here, we have Scout Cars. Starting with the M3 Scout Car, it goes 89 kph. It has a driver and 2 gunners, plus 5 extra infantry that can sit inside. Its main armaments are a 50 cal and a 30 cal on the back. Or if Rito really wants, they just get rid of the 30 cal on the back. I don't know, it might be a little unnecessary. For the Germans, we have the SDK 247, also B. It goes 80 kph on road, driver, and 1 gunner, plus 4 infantry that can sit inside, and should have an MG42 on the top there. So for my overview, this vehicle should basically be a light scout car that should be one of 2 things, really. I mean, idea 1, it should just be a quick transport that you can move your squad from location to location with a little armor protection, with 1 crate on the back. So basically, it would just be like a more armored Kuba wagon or Jeep. Or idea 2, it should basically be a quick transport that doesn't have a crate, but you can spawn on it. Russians will get this under the Lend-Lease agreement. This vehicle, so pretty much this vehicle should be a quick assault vehicle, should change how the early game goes, or even late game events happen, by transporting and spawning troops very closely and quickly near the closest capture point. It should be hard to achieve, say, Chauffeur Gold 1. It should have as much HP as a Jeep, so unlike, its half-track counterpart, like this thing should be able to get one-shotted by 75 millimeters and up. And since it has not as much armor as the regular half-track, it should be easily penable by MGs with armor-piercing ammo. And of course, this should fall under a half-track resource, so, you should only have a few resources available to you. Side demand, the standard half-track should have 2 crates, because honestly, if you're dealing with a half-track that's meant for, like, kind of moving up and supporting the team, it should really have 2 crates. I mean, I don't understand why it would only have 1. I just had a thought about the scout car. This could just be a vehicle that only recon soldiers could spawn, but just with, the same properties that I said about the infantry version. Demand 9. Trucks. So just a quick demand here. We have 3 trucks. For the Americans, we have the, Russians Gaz AAA, and the Germans the Opel Blitz. Basically, these 3 trucks should just replace the current 3 trucks at any spawn point where there are trucks. Whatever faction owns a capture point should get their trucks. So if Germany owns the capture point, they would get the Opel Blitz. All these vehicles should be the same speed, despite realistic values. I mean, all the trucks may move at different speeds. Like the Opel Blitz might be the fastest, but honestly, they should all just move at the same speed. So there's no, complaining. And as a side demand, there should be quicker or more truck spawns. Demand 10. Combat cars. Starting with the M20 utility car, it goes 89 kph on road. Its gunner is very exposed, as you can see. He doesn't have any cover. But he does have a 50 cal, so I mean he can kind of combat smaller vehicles by blowing them up with his mighty machine gun. The second vehicle is the SDK FZ221. It goes 80 kph on road. The gunner head is exposed, but at least it's not exposed as the American one. And he should have an MG34 or a 42. Moving on to one of the Tier 3 combat cars that I think should be in the game. Starting with the lowest variant that I have here. It, has a low velocity, short 75mm cannon, but it is turreted. It should only sling HE. It shouldn't be really made for killing tanks. And it has open top, so anybody can get picked out the top if you jump up on the vehicle or if you have the angle. But this turret does have decent mantlet armor, so you possibly can bounce a tank shell off your mantlet. So with the second variant, you have kind of like an anti-aircraft vehicle. It has great turret traverse, turns really fast, has 250 cals, both should be able to fire at the same time, but this thing does have an open top, and the turret is very lightly armored, and there is an opening at the front, so the gunner can be picked out if he's looking at an enemy and the enemy's looking at him. Now for the best variant, or the endgame variant that you should get. This thing is the E1 version, has good traverse, 37mm cannon, which is pretty standard on a combat car. Has a bow gunner, which is just kind of like an extra seat that can do something. And of all the combat cars, it's kind of like it should be about 89 kph on road, so it's actually pretty decently fast. Now moving on to the Germans' combat car, the Puma. For the first variant, we have the low velocity, short 75mm cannon, just like the Staghound, except the difference is the Germans one isn't as good because the gun is fixed and the back is a lot more exposed, so you can get picked out a lot easier, and it's harder to use this thing. You pretty much have to swing the vehicle around and point it towards your enemy. With the anti-aircraft variant, we have good turret traverse, of course. We do get the 20mm cannon on there, and an MG34, but they should be fired separately. The turret is open top, just as you should know, like the 222. It's very lightly armored, so obviously it's easy to pen, but I mean, honestly, the combat car is very lightly armored altogether, so it should be easy to pen anyway. It has little depression on the turret because the vehicle's a lot taller, so it'd be harder to hit things or people, tanks closer up. And for the final variant, the true Puma variant. We have a moderate turret traverse. I mean, it should still be pretty good. Not like Greyhound slow. This thing has a 50mm cannon, so it should have better pen and velocity over its predecessor. Plus, since it has a bigger cannon, it should be able to like 3-shot a medium tank instead of 4-shot or 5-shot. It has okay turret armor. The frontal armor of the turret is about 50. I think it's 50, plus the mantlet should actually make it a bit stronger, so it might be stronger there. It is a big vehicle, though. I mean, it's a big giant paper box, but it can move decently fast at 80 kph. So for kind of like the Tier 1 combat car overview, the idea is to simply have more combat cars in place of the Tier 1 and have additional Tier 3s. So as you should know, Tier 1 combat cars are used like harassers that should only get the one machine gun and really only kill infantry, but, you know, should easily get up on tanks, and you can deal with the tank another way instead of just shooting it. Side demands: Tier 1 combat cars should be fast as their counterparts, Jeeps. So in other words, the devs should really buff the BA64 speed by 15 to 20 kph, and if they add in the other two combat cars, the other Tier 1s, they should just be as fast. So they can be really fast, pretty much like a Jeep, because they don't have this giant cannon kind of slowing them down. As another side demand, Tier 1 combat cars should be able to place mines. I think is a cool feature. You know, say it has like 5 seconds to place the mine. The gunner can't do anything for this time, so for 5 seconds, gunner can't do anything, and it should have a 20-second cooldown, so you're not spamming the mine placement. For the Tier 3 combat car overview, we have, you know, it should be an additional, like, third combat car. It should be more expensive, but powerful. This combat car should come with the 3 different stages that you can unlock. You know, you got the infantry support cannon, which is the short 75. Then you have the anti-aircraft variant to deal with air. And then you have the main version, which has its, you know, main turret that you can't get picked out of. And it's, you know, it's got the main cannon. Side demand, all combat cars, you know, with their main variants, they should get HE and AP. So pretty much with the Tier 1, the vehicle with just the machine gun, it should just get AP to unlock. The next version up, you know, Greyhound, you got 222, you got the VA6, should be able to get HE and AP, and then you go on to the Tier 3 combat car with its last variant, and it should get HE and AP as well. So pretty much the only way to get these turrets, you know, you gotta research the different turrets by playing the combat car. So just like how you unlock the crates on the back, that's the way you should unlock a combat car. I got some pictures at the bottom showing, you know, you got your first turret, you start with it, then you get your anti-aircraft turret at Silver 4, and then you get your main primary turret at Gold 4 of the combat car. So, and pretty much this shouldn't be a permanent choice. I mean, you should be able to switch back between the turrets whenever you feel the need to use the counter. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your ideas. Maybe I might use them in the next video. Who knows? and I'll see you on the next episode.
What do you get when you have a 222 turret on a Puma? A Tuma.
No, it's not the Duma! Why do you guys keep saying that?